check, 1, 2.
Go! Curious about real estate? Yes! Then you've come to the right place. Get the knowledge you need. Get over the fear and get started. This is the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show with your host, Michael Quarles.
Hello, everybody. Michael Quarles with Podcast 54. This one's going to be a really interesting podcast, and we'll find out how interesting and how well it goes on question number 5. We're doing the 5 investor questions. And remember, if you have a question, send it to support@bsffacademy.com. That is support@bsffacademy.com. Question number 1. When wholetailing, what wording can I use on the listing in the multiple listing service to let the potential buyers and their agent know that although I am not the owner listed on the deed, I am able to sell the property and have equitable interest? What you do is you have your agent put it in the agent remarks, not in the public record remarks, but in the agent remarks, it's subject to seller obtaining title. And in fact, any offer that you accept, you must counter with that language. You have to make sure that that language is in a counter offer before you accept the final offer. Because if it isn't, what happens is if the seller decides not to sell it to you and you have contracted with a buyer without language that will give you an out, then you're going to be responsible to that buyer if you can't sell it to them. So all of our offers are subject to seller obtaining title. So it's a contingency on you actually buying the property, but that goes in the agent remarks, not the public record remarks. But great question. Question number 2. How do you give the seller presentation over the phone? Same way you do it in person. Thank you for inviting me out to buy your house today. Thank you for calling me to buy your house today. You just do the same thing over the phone. Now, here's the thing. Some people never want to see us, so it's super easy for them. I mean, they live in Texas. They have a house in Bakersfield, which is a couple miles apart, so they're never going to see me anyway. And we have, these scanners and these copiers, and we have email, and we have FedEx, and we have closing companies all over the place. We have mobile notaries that can go out to somebody's house and get stuff signed. Man, we can do all this stuff over the phone. We absolutely don't have to ever see a seller. And in fact, in my operation, we rarely see a seller. So, we talk to a lot of them, but our job isn't to go out there and knock on doors anymore. I mean, again, I've knocked on enough doors. And you can't multiply your business model unless you get outside of knocking on doors. I know some people are in real estate because they really like knocking on doors and looking at houses and it's all pretty and nicey nice. However, I'm in the real estate business to make money. And if I can make more money never having to knock on a door, then I'll do that. Now, in the beginning of my career, I had to learn everything I know now by knocking on doors. So it's important in the beginning to do that. But after a while, you don't have to. Question number 3. What keywords should I be looking for when finding a URL for my website? Great question. If you can't buy something like ibuyhouses.com or webuyhouses.com, which you can't because they're taken, or like sellcash.com, which is mine, or 1-800-SELL-FOR-CASH, which is mine. If you can't find a real easy, clicky one, then here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to Google and pretend like you're going to start a ad campaign for search terms. And then you're going to put in that you buy houses, and then you're going to put in your city, wherever you're located. Like I buy houses, Bakersfield. And then they're going to give you indications or hints of some of the most popular search terms. As you scroll through those, find the one with thousands and thousands of searches on them. So like real estate, California, Bakersfield, or sell my house, Bakersfield, something like that. And Google's going to tell you the ones that are the most popular. Then go over to GoDaddy and type into GoDaddy, their little domain search thing, an address like sell my house, Bakersfield. If that had a lot of Google popularity from, how many people search that term, and you could get that URL, my gosh, go do that. And by the way, you can have several of these and just have them forwarded with masking to one website. And that's an easy way to do it. It will help you when people do type in those words, like sell my house Bakersfield, and your website's called Sell My House Bakersfield, then you're going to come up. So you're going to have some organic placement with Google, which is outstanding. But great question.
Thanks for listening to Buy, Sell, Fix, Flip. We'll be right back. Are you running out of leads? It's time you tried Yellow Letters at yellowletters.com. Get motivated seller leads through yellow letters, postcards, zip letters, typed professional letters, greeting cards, door hangers, and business cards. Yellow Letters is a full-service marketing company created with your success in mind. Get the personal attention you need to get your direct mail campaign started and get in touch at yellowletters.com.
And we are back in 3, 2, 1.
Question number 4. If for any reason an investor signed a contract but would then like to back out of it, is there a form for terminating that contract that was already signed? Well, there's 2 stages here. If you've already opened up escrow or opened up the closing, your closing and escrow company is going to draw up cancellation instructions for both parties to sign. If there is deposits involved, then that cancellation is going to dictate, or it's going to indicate who gets the deposit. And then once both parties sign it, then whoever gets the deposit gets the deposit. If you haven't opened up escrow yet, the most that you have to do is send to the seller at the address indicated on your offer that you're going to cancel the agreement to purchase. Now, you can cite a paragraph or one of the articles inside of your agreement that allows you to do that. I don't do that because, let's face it, it doesn't really matter why I'm canceling it. I'm just canceling the agreement. And they can get frustrated with you, and they get mad at you, and they can call you all kinds of stuff. But the reality is we have the right to cancel a contract as long as we cancel it within the terms of our agreement. Now, my agreement allows me to cancel the contract up until the moment I actually buy the property. So for the entire process of me being escrow, I can cancel it based upon anything I determine, from a marketability perspective to something I find out about on the property. Now, in most states, they have what they call a transfer disclosure statement. And in California, that's a statement or a disclosure that the seller must give the buyer. It's the seller's responsibility to give it to the buyer. And then after the seller gives that disclosure to the buyer has 17 days to get out of it for whatever's on the disclosure. But again, it's the seller's responsibility. So I never even ask the seller to give me a TDS, although I know they need to. Because you never know. And I don't want to know what they may know, by the way, because the transfer disclosure statement talks about all kinds of stuff negative about the property. I certainly don't want to know it. If they're not going to tell it to me, I'm not going to find out on my own some of these things. So just send a simple letter, call them on the phone, I'm canceling. If it's already in escrow or closing, they'll draw instruction up. But great question. Question number 5 is really unique. Now, it's super, super, super cool. On our website at buysellfixflip.com, we have on the right-hand side, it says, leave a message, a verbal message kind of thing. You want to talk to us, just say something instead of type something. You can actually click that little button, and then it'll start recording your voice, and you can send us a voice message. So here's a voice question.
Hi, Michael. Big fan of the show, big fan of all the help you give to new investors, and love your Yellow Letters. I have a question. I am training an assistant. She's been with me for about 5 months now, and she's been with me on about 3 deals now. On the last deal, we had a house that should have it has an ARV of $290,000. We got it under contract for $180,000. Now it's beat up. It's been a rental for probably 20, 25 years. Needs a new roof. Everything's worn and ugly. Nothing that can't be fixed, but it's got some wear. Anyway, in a discussion with a realtor she knows, the realtor seemed to indicate that at that price level, what we were doing could be considered unethical or shady somehow. And that kind of threw her back, and honestly, she has some questions about it. And I was wondering if you could address that in your next podcast. And also, I understand as a realtor, there are ethical issues surrounding that too. Maybe if you could also elaborate on that as well, on the ethical implications of buying a similar type of deal as a licensed realtor. If you could weigh on that particular aspect of it as well.
It's a great question. Here's the deal. I don't think it's unethical to buy a piece of property that ARVs at $290 for $180. I am not, and I have yet, and I will never do this. I will never take advantage of someone. I will never force someone to sign an agreement. I will not coerce someone to sign an agreement. I will not charge danger over or upon someone if they don't sign my agreement. Every seller that has signed my agreement has willfully signed my agreement. When the Superior Court judge sold me the house for less than I was going to make on the house, and he knew it, I believe that I've done my ethical duty. The seller knew, in this case, a Superior Court judge knew that I was going to make more money on the house than he was selling me the house for. Then I think it's fine. Which is why, guys and gals, I put in my agreement that I'm going to make a huge amount of money, that I have the right to assign it. You know, we don't have to tell people we have the right to assign unless we don't have the right to assign in our contract. And, you know, if it says buyer cannot assign a contract without seller approval, then we don't have the right. But if it doesn't say anything about assignability, then we always have the right. But I put all this stuff in because I think it's important for people to know. So I tell them in my contract, I'm going to make a huge amount of money. I'm going to market on the MLS, all this stuff. I mean, I'm so open and honest with sellers, and I think they enjoy it. I like the fact that I don't have to worry about people thinking I'm doing anything unethical or immoral or illegal. But if someone's having a hard time with this, understand our sellers, for whatever reason it is to them, they're finding our solution in their best interest. Let me say that one more time. For whatever situation that they have caused themselves to be in, they find our solution the best for them. We have yet, and we will never buy a house from someone who felt like there was a better solution for them, that they could go some other route. Our sellers use us because they know that, again, we're their best solution. I mean, they can't use a regular real estate agent. They don't have the time. They don't want people to know how they've been carrying out their life or carrying on with their life. They don't want people to know what they're using the house for. They don't want people to know anything about the transaction. They're embarrassed about, the circumstances that causes them to arrive at this stage in their life. And oh my goodness, guys and gals, I'm all into embedded commands and mimicking and negotiation and positive negative reinforcements and all those good things that give me the ability to negotiate with someone well. But I tell everybody that I teach negotiation to, I am not ever going to negotiate someone past my number. So I have a number. I'm going to negotiate to my number. Just because I could continue to negotiate past my number doesn't mean I shouldn't, and I'm never going to. And in fact, I have given people more money for their house than they have asked me for because of that standard. We should set an ethical standard on how we're going to interact with people, what business model and what numbers we have to adhere to, and then fall forward and know that we're doing it morally and ethically correct. And for someone to tell us or think what we're doing is unethical, shame on them. Shame on them. They do not know the sellers the way we do. They do not know the people that we're helping the way we do. A normal, regular, hardworking realtor does not understand the people that we help, that they cannot help. If they did understand it, they would certainly not criticize us for doing what we do and helping the folks that we help. So don't feel bad that you can buy a $290,000 piece of property for $180,000. Don't feel bad at all. Congratulations for helping those folks and for finding an opportunity. Our job is to be profitable, but it's also to be community supportive and to understand that as a person in our community, that we have to be responsible to that community. And as long as you're doing things ethically and morally, you're doing fine. Don't let someone else's attitude or misunderstanding or lack of knowledge interfere with what you're doing. Did a great job. Thanks for the question. And guys and gals, if any of you are looking for a real estate coach, man, I'd love to talk to you for 15 minutes and tell you about the program. All you've got to do is go to buysellfixflip.com, hit coaching. There's a little form to fill out. Come on over to the Academy site, look around, look at what we do. And if it looks good to you, give me a call. And Let's chat about it. Until next time, thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the Michael Quarles Real Estate Show. Get more info and stay in touch at michaelquarles.com.